Well, good day, family. And this is going to be a fairly short lesson because it's on only one of the feast, Sukkot, which is the Feast of Tabernacles, and it follows Yom Kippur. Well, if you remember, Rosh Hashanah came on the 18th, and Yom Kippur, the 28th of September this year, and Sukkot is going to be October the 2nd through the 9th. And this is one of the feasts that is more of a celebration and very little fasting, but it is a period of rejoicing over what God has done. And the word Sukkot means booth or tabernacle, and it's primarily from the scriptures out of Leviticus, 11:23, and it's basically a celebration of the 40 years that the Jewish people were wandering from when they were in Egypt. And this is a celebration of that because they did actually live in Sukkots back in those days. And you can read that if you want. It's Leviticus 23, 39 through 43, as that is the scriptural reference for it. And the original Sukkot, if you will, Sukkot, took place when the tabernacle was still there. And so they would have a big celebration and feast. And the first thing they did was dip water from the pool of Siloam, and then they would light up the tabernacle with all the lights they could, and then all march around with these palm leaves in their hands. And I'm not real sure how you pronounce those, but I think it's, well, we'll get to that in a minute. But anyway, and the celebration went on from there. And it was a time of great joy and a whole lot of fun. However, when the temple was destroyed in AD 70, that kind of put a problem on it. And so therefore, the celebration of this feast moved over to their homes, and of course they had to make some modifications to it. However, Jesus had made several references to two parts of this, which I'll get to in a minute. But the major point I want to get across to you is that this was a time of celebration, and the people would build their own little tabernacle, if you will, hut, and it could not be under a tree. It had to be on its own because the tree is an entity unto itself. And generally the open with the starlight visible, and some of the Jewish people nowadays actually live or sleep in the tabernacle or Sukkot until morning, and you're supposed to have all of your meals there. You don't necessarily have to sleep there, but some do. But anyway, it's the meals and sleeping there for 7 days because 7 is completion, if you recall, and so that is a sign of completion of them being delivered. So the 3-day, there's about a 3-day celebration there, if you will, where a lot of this goes on. The decorations and all is one of the most important things, and everybody has a lot of fun, kind of like decorating Christmas trees, and it's a celebration. Now the date palms, and I'm going to try to pronounce this in Hebrew, lulav. Anyway, I'll spell it for you, and y'all can figure that out yourself. But it's, well, now I can't remember how to spell it. But anyway, we'll get to that. I'll catch up in a minute. Anyway, this is L-U-L, Av, A-V. What it was a leaf from the palm tree. a palm tree. And recall that in Jesus, when he went into Jerusalem, they spread the palm tree leaves ahead of him. And that is significant, but it wasn't with this feast that they had done that. But they take the palm branch, if you will, and then there's 3 other plants or trees that they wire or tie onto this. And there's from the myrtle, the willow, and the citron. And they form this little palm tree, I guess, limb. It's from the date palm. And what they do then, they have a regular way that it is waved, and it's waved. It used to be waved as people danced around the temple. Of course, that can't be done now. But then they read some scriptures, sing some songs, and there's a precise way that this palm branch is waved in honor of God. Now, just real briefly, getting back to the pool of Siloam, the drinking of it, and the light going around the temple. Jesus referred to this a couple of times, and so that the Jews would understand exactly what he was talking about, because he said that I am the living water, and that is referring back to the pool of Siloam that is drunk. And the other is, I'm the light of the world, and that was the light that they had when they went around the temple. But all that kind of came to a screeching halt when the temple was destroyed. So now, all this is done in individual homes, and individual homes celebrate, and there's scripture reading and a time of coming to the synagogue to come together. And the biggest point is to rejoice in the salvation that God provided for the Jews for 40 years. And that's what this whole focus is about, a celebration. And I find it's very interesting that it comes after Yom Kippur, which is the Day of Atonement. So now we have the Day of Atonement, sins forgiven. Now we celebrate what Jesus, or what God had done for the Jews in delivering them from Egypt. Now that's it in a pretty short explanation, but in reality, if you want to know more about it, you could Google Sukkoh, I believe is how you spell it, Sukkot, and you can look it up. No, it's T, Sukkot, which means hut or tabernacle, and you can read the full thing. It's quite, as most of the Jewish holidays are, quite extensive, and if you want scriptural reference for this, it's in Leviticus 23 again. So, with that in mind, we have now completed the feast up to October. And then we have Hanukkah coming up in December, I believe it is. I haven't checked the exact date. And that's the lighting of the lights. So I will get on that one probably in November or so. And if you all have any questions or anything, just give me a call, okay? And shalom, y'all. Bye.